Look. People are bending over backwards to make excuses for why Elon Musk decided to give the old Heil Hitler twice at the Trump after inauguration rally. Oh, it's because of his autism, or because he's being a provocateur, this, that, or the other thing. He's doing it ironically. Like I've seen all sorts of shit. Here's what I'll tell you. Here's what I'll tell you. And I saw this online, and I can't think of a more perfect encapsulation. If you fuck a goat ironically, you're still a goat fucker.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Look Forward. I'm your host Jay. I'm here with my co-host Brad.
This might be the hardest docket we've ever had to put together, just through the sheer amount of sewage that we had to wade through, figuring out what the best stories were. Which is Jay and I were discussing before the podcast. Kind of the point, right? Like that's kind of the whole method behind the madness is just flooding the zone with shit. The only worthwhile thing that Steve Bannon ever said.
Yeah. I mean, he was dead on with that. I wish he was just dead, but that's just me personally. Fingers crossed. All right, look, man, here we go. Right, this is the opening salvo to the next 4 years ? Of the rest of your life. Look, we've been sort of preparing after the election. We took a little bit of time off to lick our wounds, so to speak, get back into the zone. We're back into the next Trump administration. This is where the shit begins. All right. If you were, rest of it was pregame. That's all it was.
Here's what I will say. I said this in the Discord. I'll say it again on the show here. I think the most useful advice, especially this time around, because look, you gotta learn lessons from the first go round, right? And them coming out and just saying the most ridiculous nonsense possible is a tactic, because they know that us and the media are, like the fucking cat with the laser pointer, right? Like all you have to do is fucking shine it in a certain direction. Everyone's attention will go there, and that lets them, slide some equally repugnant shit that doesn't sound as crazy under the radar. And so something that Rachel Maddow banged the drum about during his first administration a lot, and she's picked it up again, is just the advice of watch what they do, not what they say.
Yep, absolutely.
Because what they do is far more important than what they say. You can look at what they say as a harbinger of what they might do. But as we saw in the first go round, like 3/4 of what he says and what people around him say is just horseshit that they don't even try to do, or they overpromise, underdeliver all the time on stuff that they allege that they're gonna make forward. But all the stuff that we're going to talk about here is stuff that they've actually done or started to do. Right. In just the first day and a half, basically, that we're looking at here.
All right.
And
here we go.
Not great. Not great.
Apparently we don't have any information on it because, they haven't actually done anything, but Fox News seems to be really excited about the coming infrastructure week. There's supposed to be a big infrastructure announcement. It
happened today.
Was it? Was this the Stargate thing?
Yes, this is the Stargate.
Okay, the government has nothing to do with this. I would just like to put that out there before we get into the story. Literally, also nothing to do with
also, again, remember the first time around, we were told that we were going to build a massive Foxconn plant in Wisconsin that's going to have 11,000 jobs and this, that, or the other thing that's coming along with it, and it amounted to fucking nothing. It amounted to an embarrassment, frankly, for those guys of a bunch of no-show jobs and shit like that. So because Sam Altman and a fucking bank is out here like, we're going to spend $500 billion on an AI thing to cure cancer. No, okay. Leave it when I see it.
Okay. We'll get to that in just 1 second, but I would like to say, just for the record, yes, that Foxconn thing that Trump had promised that was like 11,000 jobs or whatever, that never materialized. You know what did materialize? Joe Biden got into
Yeah.
office, and they actually opened the shit, right?
Yeah. Sold. Well, he sold the land and the building to Microsoft, and Microsoft actually
Delivered.
got like 2,000 jobs. It wasn't 11,000, but it was better than the like zero
Right.
that had been going on there before.
So just historically, I just want to point
Right.
that out. So yeah, so the Stargate thing. Fuck you for using that name. How dare you? Okay, that's quality.
That was just on the other week. We were channel surfing, and my wife had never seen it.
The
And
movie,
I
not the
told her
series, correct?
Yeah, the movie. Yeah,
Right.
I was like, you're gonna love this. Like, you love terrible movies. You like Kurt Russell. You like James Spader. Like, this is
It's
right
all
up
there.
your alley.
Yeah, look, I do love Stargate. Is it a great movie? No, it is not. Like, but it was like a fun concept. It was a very fun concept movie. But yeah, so the Stargate thing is that they are going to, like you said, Sam Altman and OpenAI potentially, are going to spend $500 billion.
Mhm.
Like, I'm sorry. What is this? GTA 6? Get out of here. Nobody's spending that kind of money. They're going to spend $500 billion, allegedly, to build basically this massive AI infrastructure. And it is going to have 100,000 jobs, of real jobs with real people. By the way, there are quite literally articles I was reading yesterday about how there is an imminent announcement, like Sam Altman and like OpenAI folks met with the U.S. government because they are getting ready to announce. People think it's OpenAI. It may or may not be them, but some big AI company. It's probably OpenAI. That they are getting ready. They are on the cusp of announcing what they refer to as PhD level bots in AI, meaning that these bots are capable of doing PhD level research and work, like without any human interaction at all. So I'm meant to believe, and look, I think that's possible? Absolutely, I think it's possible. Here's my thing: do I know if it's like going to help anybody? You know, the common man? Probably not, right? But here's my point. You're talking about this coming, but you're also trying to make me believe that you're going to create 100,000 jobs for actual human beings. That doesn't make sense, right? Like,
also, this is the same technology that like a viral thing went on like Google's AI search, where the Google AI search results couldn't tell you the temperature at which water freezes. So, like, I feel like we still have a ways to go on that one.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. I don't like
AI continues to just as the days go by look more and more like the answer to a question that nobody has literally ever asked before.
I'm of the mindset that AI can be very helpful depending on how you're using it, right? I think if you're trying to get rid of, like, just as a like normal person, I'm not talking about in a corporation, but as a normal person, if you're trying to get through mundane tasks, it can help quite a bit, right? If you know how to use it. The problem is the focus from corporations and the news is like, how do we screw artistic originality? Like, how do we make movies without paying actors? How do we make art without, hiring artists? Like, that really shouldn't be what AI is doing. It should be like, hey man, I'd like to try to figure out like dinner ideas, shit that people actually like sit at home.
Right.
And go, what do I do?
But there's
that kind of stuff.
There's a huge difference between like,
and I understand that's consumer,
like generative AI and stuff like that. That's enhancing existing technology, and like learning large language models, which are the things that all these assholes are trying to develop. Like NVIDIA has great AI shit. Like, I love the fucking AI processes that my graphics card uses that lets me run a game at like 1080p settings, but it looks like it's in 4K because it's able to, use AI to sharpen the image and up-res it, and allows me to, run a game at 240 frames a second on my PC without actually running it that fast. Like it's actually running at like 120 from a hardware standpoint. But but AI is inserting frames and stuff like that. That shit is cool. That makes sense. Trying to fucking like replace science research with shoddy slapped together methods, that's not that ain't it, Chief.
No, it's not there yet. Look, some people think the idea of AI being able to, and I actually use this quite a bit with AI, is it being able to go in and like look up studies and explain it to me in plain language. It's not all the way there, but it's pretty fucking close that it can, like, some things I'm like, okay, yeah, you go back and read it, and you're like, it's actually not what that meant. Like, yeah, if you take this, everything will be fine. Like, well, actually, it says if you take this, everything will be fine for 6 months, and then your leg will fall off. Like, okay, well then don't do that, right? But I think those kind of things with AI to help people understand stuff and to sort of bridge the gap in understanding things like that, no problem. But at the end of the day, do I buy that they're going to build anything that's going to create 100,000 jobs? No. Also, at the same time, they're getting ready to torch the federal government employees, which is going to be what, 250,000, potentially 500,000 jobs. Boy, they should get that AI really up and running because a lot of people are going to need fucking jobs. So, yeah, I saw Trump announce the Stargate thing. Just understand this has nothing to do with the U.S. government. Like, this is completely outside of the U.S. government altogether. He just wants to say 100,000 jobs to act like he's doing something. He is doing nothing, right? He couldn't spell AI if he had a gun to his head. So, yeah, don't fall for it. All right, so let's get into all of the dirty shit that this guy has done. Look, neither one of us watched the inauguration. I could give a fuck. I'm not. I think we talked about that a little bit last week. I'm not going to watch a guy who's going to do quite literally the opposite of the oath that he's going to take. So what is the fucking purpose? Like, listen to somebody say a bunch of bullshit that I know is not true in a speech? Yeah, no thanks. I did see a couple of images. Look, I'm not a prude. I'm not. But if you wear a bra as a top, like you're Susan Mischke from fucking Seinfeld to the presidential inauguration, you're giving me skank vibes. Okay, like I'm sorry. Like, look, I know, I'm being the bad guy here. Jeff Bezos is Beyonce.
Oh, Jeff Bezos, the one where all the pictures are going around of Mark Zuckerberg getting caught looking like not subtle at all. Like, all right,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah, you get a good enough look there, Zuckerberg. Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing? And to that, I would say she's not the only skank that was up there, right? All those dudes, all these billionaire guys, they're all skanks, all of them. And this is what you sold the country to. It's just a bunch of classless ass clowns. And this is what you get. You get
that's all right. We'll talk about how actions have consequences later in the show because I'm feeling a lot of these dicks might be in for a rude awakening here soon.
Good. I hope it hurts them first. All right. Trump decides that he's going to pardon all of the nonviolent, as he says, Jan Sixers, 1,500 of them. That was sort of overnight.
I hate to break it to anyone who that he thinks is nonviolent. He literally pardoned everybody or commuted. Like I think he pardoned the vast majority, and I think there were 22 sentences that were commuted, including like Stuart Rhodes and some of the other like main players.
Oh, really? I was going to ask. I hadn't heard Stuart Rhodes' name. So,
his sentence got commuted, so he's out of jail. He can never own a gun for the rest of his life. So I guess that's a positive. Like, his sentence still stands.
I'm sure he'll follow that rule to the letter.
Oh, sure. So, but yeah, remember when Trump was like, "Oh, we're going to look at it on a case by case basis." Remember when literally, less than a week ago, where JD Vance was like, "Yeah, anyone who perpetrated violence against a police officer is not going to get a pardon." What the fuck are you thinking? At age like milk, overnight.
Cool, man. Great. That's awesome.
Look. As I didn't say this to you, but I was thinking it the whole time. Brown shirts aren't going to recruit themselves, guys. Like, you got to get them from somewhere. So,
yeah. I guess Chris Terrio is out, right? Like he's
yeah.
He's back out there. All right.
Pardoned. 22-year sentence, just wiped away. All good.
So those fuckers are going to be out in full force now, and their loyalty to Trump is going to be that much deeper. Great.
Again, kind of the point behind the whole thing.
All right.
Trust me, I'm sure he would love to have some sort of extrajudicial ground force that he can command subtly. So that I guarantee you is part of what this is. Aside from just also, sticking it to the libs, basically.
Yeah, it was the libs who were the problem here. Okay.
Yeah. Did you see Marco Rubio's reaction to this, by the way?
No, I didn't.
He was doing an interview, I think, on CNN.
The Secretary of State. What did he?
Yeah, so current Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and he was asked by the interviewer, like, "What do you think about these pardons?" Because like when you were in Congress and this happened, like you were saying like how repugnant it was and how dangerous and all the things that you would expect someone to say that was in the building that day. And his response was something along the lines of, "Look, like when I said that, I was a senator, and now I'm the Secretary of State, and I work for Donald Trump, so I have a different." So I have a different outlook on that right now. Yeah,
I gave away my integrity when I signed onto this.
Right.
Like, yeah. Why are you asking dumb questions? Like, get the fuck out of here. Okay, so all Jan 6 people are out. That's great. Many people have obviously, and I think properly compared this to Bain letting out all of the criminals in Blackgate. I give the city to you, the people. Great, cool. Excellent. Good job, everybody. Trans folks were kind of the first ones to be attacked, sort of pre-inauguration, and now that is...
No, during the inauguration. He talked about this during his address.
Well, no, I know, but I'm saying the news came out about this
to
the inauguration. Trump signs executive orders proclaiming that there are only 2 biological sexes, halting diversity programs. So, yeah, basically the idea is... the gender order states, quote, defends women's rights and freedom, women's rights and protect freedom of conscience by using clear and accurate language and policies that recognize women are biologically female and men are biologically male. Quote, across the country, ideologues who deny the biological reality of sex have increasingly used legal and other socially coercive means to permit men to self-identify as women and gain access to intimate, single-sex spaces and activities designed for women, from women's domestic abuse shelters to women's workplace showers. This is wrong. Efforts to eradicate the biological reality of sex fundamentally attack women by depriving them of their dignity, safety, and well-being. The erasure of sex and language and policy has a corrosive impact not just on women, but on the validity of the entire American system. Basing federal policy on truth is critical to science, inquiry, public safety, morale, and the trust in government itself. Okay, that is very interesting language, and I can only respond to it by saying, do intersex people exist to you? I don't know, man.
We don't think about actual cases that exist.
Right.
That don't comport with.
Right. This is just rhetoric. Look, I have I know a trans person who, or I know a person who has a trans child, like early college age child, who luckily lives in Maryland, where they will likely not directly experience sort of any major changes, I would imagine. However, this is a big deal. And I've seen a lot of people refer to this, and I understand their perspective, and I don't think that they're coming from a malicious standpoint, which is to say, like, this is a distraction because they're going to be trying to do outside. Stop referring to people's rights as distractions. Like, this is not a distraction. This is how people identify, which is one of the most core parts of who you are as a human being.
Right.
It's not.
I mean, there's a reason that trans teenagers especially have such high suicide rates is because of the resistance to allow them to live as who they want to live as, essentially.
Right. Like, who they are.
Right? It's a core belief. So, this is fucking horseshit. And again, like the thing that kills me and that's always killed me about this whole about the fight against trans rights. You're literally talking about less than 1% of the population, like a percent of a percent, basically. There are not, like in the whole of America, there are really not that many trans people that are rolling around that exist.
Right.
Like you were just punched like this is the biggest, most prominent example of punching down repeatedly, because they're the easiest people to punch down on, and because they're such a small minority of people in the country, they're also the group who even like right think not right wing, but like correct thinking people aren't necessarily going to jump to their defense, because it's very possible that you don't know anybody who's trans, or you don't know anyone
absolutely possible.
Yeah. So it's a lot harder to internalize if you don't know that, and that's by design, right? Like that's by design. Like every authoritarian or fascist regime always picks on the most vulnerable populations first, because they know they can get away with it, and it embeds the attacks with a sense of normalcy, so that when they go up to like the next group on the totem pole, essentially, it's not as shocking. So
yeah, no, that's absolutely true. And it also, the problem is there is a lot of sort of, I don't even want to say deep seated, I would say just sort of seated hatred for trans people, and sadly it exists on both ends of the spectrum, political spectrum, right? You'd see the Young Turks have gotten kicked in the teeth about this numerous times. Good. About sort of being kind of TERFs in a lot of ways. And so it helps to like kind of, you get to like pull both people in, like, oh, maybe Trump's doing the right thing. He's not. And the tell is how much they use women as the shield to beat trans people over the head, right? You notice how it's like women, and like everybody else. Like they don't actually give a fuck.
It's never trans men.
No,
never
they just wanted
that they're attacking.
Right. They are doing the thing that especially white men, and actually not especially, that white men have done since the beginning of time. They have weaponized white women's fear, or I shouldn't even say white women's fear, but they have weaponized white women and said we must protect them by doing terrible things to these other groups. They've done it with black women. They've done it with black men, certainly. They've done it with they use it as a method of demonizing things like marijuana, right? Oh, we got all these white girls going out to jazz clubs, doing drugs, smoking weed with black guys.
They're doing it. They're doing it today with immigration, like the whole 100%. Fucking Laken Riley thing,
right? Exactly. So like, if you are a white woman and you're like, yo, this is like fucked up, understand that they use you as a weapon all the time. Because the idea, and like there's plenty of white women very guilty of this, the idea of those white women tears are fucking powerful, and it will get people killed. It will enact policies that are horrendous, that will destroy lives, because they use it as a method to go, oh, look, we got to protect these women. When they're saying protecting women, they're not talking about minority women. Understand that. They're not. That's why they went after that, was it Algerian boxer or whatever, because she punched a white Italian woman in the face, and she was like, I can't take it. And that's where they were like, they jumped right on that shit. I can guarantee you, if that woman was a black woman or that woman was an Asian woman that got punched in the face, they wouldn't have said shit. They wouldn't have said anything. But because she's a white woman, they were able to weaponize that to try to destroy that woman. That's what they did, right? Like, So understand what you are reading.
And I also want to, and this goes for a lot of the other things that we're going to talk about. Like, just because this shit is happening and like these orders are getting signed, doesn't mean that, it's law, we have to comply. Like, most of these executive orders that are happening are being challenged in court. Now, is that any guarantee of safety? Absolutely not, especially with the Supreme Court that we have out there right now. But it does mean that things aren't taking place. And also, too, like, just because the federal government might say, hey, like, we're not gonna let you like change your gender on this official government document or this, that, or the other thing, it doesn't mean that you don't get to decide what gender you are.
No, you don't have to comply.
So Yeah, it doesn't mean anything for you personally. The federal government doesn't get to decide what gender you identify as or what gender you are. So just don't allow like be informed about this stuff, but don't allow it to cow any behavior on your part, because that's what they want. They want you to stop fighting, essentially. And that, this isn't the time to stop fighting. This is the time to start fighting. So.
Absolutely. Okay, so next up from there, let the sucking continue. Birthright citizenship, Brad. Hey, do you like the 14th Amendment? Go fuck yourself, says the Trump administration right off the bat. So we're just going to go ahead and just say we're not doing this thing, even though it's in the Constitution. I know the Constitution isn't up on the White House website anymore, but it still fucking exists.
Metaphor.
Yo, have you gone to whitehouse.gov, by the way? Have you gone?
I've heard a lot about it. I know that like when I went to research the pardons that Biden handed out, what he posted on whitehouse.gov, literally like the next afternoon, it was all taken down. They removed the Spanish version of whitehouse.gov, and this was a subtle fuck you, by the way. If you go to the URL for the Spanish version of whitehouse.gov, it gives you like a page not found sort of thing, and there's like a button on the page that takes you back to like the main page that used to say home, and now it says go home on it. Like, you ain't slick, guys. Come on. Come on.
Look, I don't pretend to be the toughest person in the world, but the level that I want to punch these assholes in the face, I cannot express to you. Like, you're just such petty dickheads. Like, you just are. Just a bunch of petty dickheads, man. I just don't.
I mean, that like, again, that is the thing, because it's not like there's a magic like racism switch that you can flip on the whitehouse.gov website to like nuke all that shit. Like, they literally people had to go in there and
they had the shit prepped.
Under orders remove that.
Yeah. But they had the shit prepped, the site already built, so they could just be like, swap this in and out on fucking day one. Of course. Or at 12 o'clock, right? Like, it's, yeah. So if you go to whitehouse.gov, quite interestingly, it's like a movie trailer for the Trump administration. It's like him saluting in front of helicopters. There's like planes flying by, all this shit.
It's exactly what he thinks the presidency is.
It's a joke.
Yeah,
and it's just like
not a joke. Not a joke. It's a marketing opportunity.
I want to fucking just grab him by his fat neck. Does he have a neck? I don't think so. But
he does, because he's got like the vagina.
Oh, he's got the
vagina neck going on in the front. Yeah, so
the fucking little goiter going on there. Just the goddamn worst. So yeah, they want to get rid of birthright citizenship. Of course, 22 states. And a pregnant woman are suing over flagrantly illegal birthright citizenship order. That is a very brave woman. Feel like that might have been a mistake to put your name out there. I wouldn't have done it. I'm not putting my face on anything. Just stay there, have your kid, just shut the fuck up. But look, you're brave. You're braver than me. Braver than I would want my wife to be if we were illegal immigrants, and she was pregnant in the United States. So, bully to you. Here's my thing. If the Supreme Court says, yeah, this is cool, without dealing with the fact that the 14th Amendment obviously fucking exists, the country's cooked. It's over. It's fucking over with. Because if they go, well, here's a carve out because of like the slight language, it's over. Because if that can happen, they can carve up any other parts of the Constitution as they see fit. If they're not willing to hold to something that is very obviously stated, then it's over. Like, I'm not sure that the country would be able to reconcile from having the Constitution carved up like that in fucking real time. With no vote, no ratification, just saying, doesn't fucking matter. What you're seeing, you're not seeing. What you read, you did not read. We're just going to go forward and do that. No, the country is fucked. Like,
I think it's cool that if the Supreme Court were to rule that way, that you think that blue states would then abide by the ruling of the Supreme Court after that.
No, I don't think that they would. I don't think that the blue states would. What I'm saying is, if you're in the country, if the Supreme Court says yes, this whole idea of you don't have birthright citizenship, who determines your citizenship? It's on a federal level. The state can say they're a citizen, but at a certain point, you're going to run into the federal government when it comes to taxes, when it comes to anything. They could just go, well, you're not an actual citizen. And then what happens?
Cool. Guess what actual citizens, or guess what non-citizens don't have to do?
I mean,
they don't pay federal income tax. Last I checked.
Yeah, but
they're not required.
No, that's true. But what I'm saying is, there is going to come a time where you're going to run up against the federal government. Like, you're just going to. That means
it would be. Don't get me wrong.
It
would be
fucking security numbers.
It would be fucking catastrophic. 100%. Now, I guess, fortunately, the word on the street is that they're trying to be forward looking with this birthright citizenship argument. Like, they're trying to say, like, yeah, everyone that was here before we signed this executive order, you're good, but going forward, we're not going to do birthright citizenship anymore. Because I think even they realize that, like, negating the citizenship of literally tens of millions of Americans would be an abnormally terrible idea.
Yeah, it would be. I'm not cool with it going forward either.
Yeah, neither am I. Obviously, like, I'm just saying that, like they're not trying to, like, completely light the country on fire. But meanwhile, like, you have dudes like Ryan Zinke, like, again, he went on CNN. They were talking to him about this, and they were like, yeah, like, what if someone is, what if someone was born here, but they have parents who aren't documented? Mm-hmm. Like, then what? And he's like, well, that's why we have shit like foster care and stuff like that. Like, we'll figure that stuff out. Don't worry.
I'm sorry. Wait, what?
Yeah. Sitting congressman.
So we're ripping families apart. This is his solution?
He doesn't know. He said they still have a lot of things they got to figure out.
I think you probably should have figured them out before you announced it.
Why have the plane built while we're flying in the air, Jay? What a silly concept.
We have foster care. Do you know how many kids are in foster care? Like, do these people give a fuck? These Jesus-loving fucking pieces.
They don't, because otherwise they wouldn't bang the drum about the anti-abortion argument either. Because they like to throw that one out too about abortion. Like, you have the kid and put him in foster care. Cool. Who's going to adopt him? You? Well, no, not me. No,
I have my own children. Yeah. Fuck other kids. Like, well, you're advocating for this. You're like,
they're fucking ghouls. They're like the fucking most ghoulish people on the planet.
Yeah, and that's
just a complete and utter embarrassment to us all.
That's really fucking disgusting. By the way, as of the end of 2022, approximately 370,000 children are in foster care in the United States. Cool. So why don't we just add like 100,000 more, or perhaps
100,000,
hundreds of thousands, right?
Yeah, millions, perhaps.
Yeah, cool.
We don't know.
You don't give a fuck about kids. You don't give a fuck about immigrants. You don't give a fuck about women. You don't give a fuck about trans. You don't give a fuck about anybody.
Nope. No, they care. They care about white men, especially if you have money.
Well, white men who are conservative Christian white men.
True. That's true. Yeah, that's right. If you're liberal, get out of here, George Soros.
Yeah, like you can die on the fucking
get in the gulag with all the other liberals.
I'm 100 years old. I know. Get in there. Like, oh man. So yeah, birthright citizenship. Maybe it still exists. We'll see.
We'll let you know in 18 to 24 months. So,
good grief. Here's a good one. This one was a personal favorite of mine, in quotes. Trump announces U.S. withdrawal from the World Health Organization, or the WHO. Look, guys, I don't know if people are aware of just like how bad this is. This one's pretty bad. Here's
to be fair, before you get started in this, I just want to point out, in the interest of fairness, we're not the only country in the world that's not part of the World Health Organization. The powerhouse country of Liechtenstein also is not a member of the WHO. So we're right there alongside Liechtenstein.
Yeah. I mean, what hasn't happened in Liechtenstein that wasn't awesome, right? Because America should be.
Why isn't Liechtenstein part of the WHO? What the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, the fuck is their problem? Okay, so the WHO, if you're unaware, one of the big things that should be relevant to everyone is that they share information when there's like a pandemic happening, so that everybody can be put on the same path and go, oh, okay, there's an outbreak in China.
Or just any outbreak of any communicable disease.
Right.
Like, by the way, I don't know, bird flu, for example.
One that might be a little relevant in the coming
coming to a dairy out near you.
Fucking already there. You want to know why eggs are expensive? Spoiler alert. Wasn't Joe Biden fucking, killing chickens with his hands. It was the fucking bird flu. So this is dangerous. Now, we already know that these guys, when it comes to pandemics, are unbelievably incapable of making good choices. Like, that's just, it is what it is. However, you'd think that the idea of losing 1 million people last time, a lot of them being conservative, people still dying because they still won't get vaccinated, you think you wouldn't want to toss away access to an organization that might give you a fucking heads up of shit that's going down. But like, the WHO's mandate is, quote, to promote health and safety while helping the vulnerable worldwide. It provides technical assistance to countries, sets international health standards, bing, 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 part of the reason they want to get out of it, collects data on global health issues, and serves as a forum for scientific or policy discussions related to health. The WHO has played leading roles in several public health achievements, most notably the eradication of smallpox, the near eradication of polio, the development of the Ebola vaccine. Current priorities include communicable diseases such as HIV, Ebola, malaria, and tuberculosis. What are we doing? What are we doing? So we don't want to know.
And this isn't good for the WHO either, because not only do we provide, do we have like some of the best healthcare research in the world, if not the best, like probably pretty sure we do have the best, because we steal all the best talent from everywhere else and bring them here. Yeah, we also provide 1/5 of their operating budget every year.
Cool.
That's just gone now.
At least we're saving money. And that's all that matters, because
all $200 million, I think I saw the figure was, that we pay a year to the WHO to help, keep the entire world as free from, devastating disease as possible.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now, I think that there is a very high chance that within the next 4 years, maybe even much sooner, you're going to have another pandemic. This bird flu thing is going fucking global, and it is going really fast. And there is only a matter of time before we get real fucking unlucky and it spreads to humans. What happens when that goes down, or if that goes down? Then what? We're on a fucking island? The U.S. is on a fucking island, and we're just hoping, wishing that dumbass gets it together? He won't. Meanwhile, he'll tell all of his supporters, because it didn't work out well for him the last time, don't take it. You don't need a vaccine. You don't need one, guys. Don't worry about it. We got it. We can do community fucking immunity bullshit, right? We can all
if RFK is there, we might not even develop one. Might not even be a choice of, hey, do you need a vaccine or do you not need a vaccine? Just be, there is no vaccine. Here's a fucking jug of bleach. Inject it right into your veins.
Have you heard of ivermectin? It's great. So, when the vaccine is available, I'll put a couple of them in my bag and I'll bring them up to you guys.
Here's the Undersecretary of Health and Human Services, Joe Rogan, to tell you all about it.
Oh my god! I'm surprised they didn't announce him as press secretary. Quite seriously, he wouldn't take the pay cut, if I'm being honest.
No, God, no! Are you kidding me? Jesus Christ!
Why is this press meeting 3 hours and talking about UFC? Very weird. So getting out of the WHO is unbelievably stupid. It's also the biggest fucking right-wing dumb fuck shit I've ever heard. And by the way, if it pisses you off, stay tuned to when they announce we're leaving the UN too. Right? You want to be real? You want to be big mad? Because that's coming. May not come today. It may not come in the next couple of weeks, but it's coming. There is no fucking way we stay in the UN. No way. No way. He's gonna start like, I'm pulling out of Ukraine, and everybody's gonna get pissed at him, and everyone's like, hey, we need your help, and he's gonna be like, look, if you guys just pay
the UN or NATO,
or excuse me, NATO. I apologize.
Okay.
I mean, at a certain point, I wouldn't be surprised about the UN either. But no, I honestly think he will pull out of NATO. Absolutely, 100%, because it is strategically beneficial to his boy.
You have to if you want to engage in your assault on Greenland. So we got ground operations to carry out there, Jay. Come on.
Again, I stated last week, the generals, you guys just gonna let that one rock? You're gonna go and invade Greenland and then go toe to toe with your fucking European allies that you've known for fucking decades?
Forget your European allies. your northern allies.
Right. You're gonna go to war with these guys? You're gonna go to war with these guys.
The one that sits on the largest unprotected land border in the entire world.
I don't get it. And it's not enough for me. I'm sorry. That I'm a general and I disagree, so I'm just gonna resign. No, that's not enough. It's not enough. Because you're going to just put a psycho in there. They're going to call up Pete Hegseth's fucking bunkmates and just have them run the fucking shit. You're going to have to do something to fight. And you're going to have to put your balls on the fucking line for this shit. You're just going to have to. Like, hey, man, you took an oath, protect the country from foreign and domestic enemies. Hello. Like, I cannot imagine a fucking 4-star general being like, guess we're invading Greenland. For rich people, this is what you're doing? Because that's all it is. It's just to get resources for precious metals so Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos and Jeff Bezos' fucking bra-wearing girlfriend can have more billions of dollars. It's fucking insane. So, yeah, good fucking God. So, yeah, we're getting out of the WHO. Great. Good job, everybody. Look, I think religion is stupid, but the Pope is right. What a segue. Quote, a disgrace. The Pope raises holy hell over Trump's biggest day one promise. Basically, the Pope is like, listen, quote, if it is true, it will be a disgrace because it makes the poor wretches who have nothing pay the bill for the imbalance. And so what he's talking about is Trump's mass deportation. By the way, Pope, don't call poor people poor wretches. It's a little dated. I know you guys like fuck is that stupid? Amazing Grace. But don't say that out loud. Yeah, the Pope coming out swinging, guns blazing.
Yeah,
pretty fucking ridiculous, man.
I mean, it's cool. The Pope thinks that any Christian in the United States gives a shit about what the Pope thinks.
Yeah,
that's Catholicism. We don't fuck with that brand of Christianity.
I mean, no offense. Catholics don't really give a fuck either. Because the Catholics who support Donald Trump, they don't give a fuck what the Pope says. If the Pope is saying something they agree with, hey, the Pope's dope. Oh, Pope's saying some shit I don't agree with, fuck that guy. Like that, I don't even understand that again, why I think religion is very silly. They don't stick by that guy the second he says anything that is antithetical to their fucking hard hell beliefs. Oh, he has a direct line to God. Cool. He came out and said this. That nigga lying. That's like it's so fucking weird. Like, all right.
Like, dude, he's got the God phone. Like, what the fuck? Like, he's got that white phone in his office. Like, you're gonna tell him he doesn't know what the fuck's going on?
Like, God, it's me, Margaret. Yeah, it's just really funny. Nobody gives a fuck what the Pope says unless you absolutely agree with him, which tells me you don't actually think the Pope has superpowers or whatever. He doesn't, by the way. He does not. It was a Nazi salute, guys. It was two of them.
It was a Nazi salute. Yes.
You don't have to argue it. You don't have to.
Again, the fact that he did it a second time, just in case you weren't sure. Like is all the proof you need. But you
fun.
know what, Jay? We who are we to cast judgment? When none other than the ADL, the Anti Defamation League, said, "Look, guys, like, was it really a Nazi salute?"
Yeah,
like,
I saw AOC was like, "You're fucking owned by them." Like,
yeah,
fuck off. Good.
Look, people are bending over backwards to make excuses for why Elon Musk decided to give the old Heil Hitler twice at the Trump after inauguration rally. You know, oh, it's because of his autism, or because like he's being a provocateur, this, that, or the other thing. He's doing it ironically. Like I've seen all sorts of shit. Here's what I'll tell you. Here's what I'll tell you. And I saw this online, and I can't think of a more perfect encapsulation. If you fuck a goat ironically, you're still a goat fucker.
That's good. Yeah. Sorry. I'm doing it ironically. Did your penis go into it?
Yeah.
Look, Elon Musk is a troll. Elon Musk has a Twitter obsession. Elon Musk is a loser. Elon Musk has the personality of a fucking wet paper bag.
Why and also like why are we splitting hairs about this? Like, this is the same dude who backed Trump to the hilt with $100 million during his campaign, like
Exactly.
the most right wing, major party run in U.S. history. This is the same guy that's backing like the Nigel Farage party in the UK. It like sans Nigel Farage, like he wants to turf Farage out of there, but he's backing the fucking UKIP party. This is the same guy who publicly announced support for like the right wing Nazi party in Germany.
Yep.
That's fronting right now. We don't have to pretend the dude's not like a fucking hardcore fascist. We just don't have to pretend. You don't have to bend over backwards or jump through hoops or try to find reasons that it's not that way. And by the way, I'm not just talking about like commenters on social media. I'm talking about like the news, like the New York Times, the Washington Post, NBC, CNN. Call it what it is.
Yeah, that's what it was. Look, here's the thing. I don't remember the dude's name, black dude on MSNBC. He's like a contributing guy. And he was having that conversation with Stephanie Rule, who I like. But she absolutely fucked this up. But it was like the day after the election. And she says, "Oh, well, he's like, look, no, we know what the reason why this went the way it went, right? It is racism and sexism in this country." And she's like, "No."
Oh, you're talking about Eddie Glaude. Yes, I like this as well. I shared this.
Yeah. And he was just like, "Look, I love you, but like, let's get it. Let's be honest. You don't want to acknowledge this because then you have to look inside you why white people would do something like this, and you don't want to have those uncomfortable conversations because there are people that you fucking know and that are your friends and even your family who think like this." And people don't want to internalize the shit. They don't want to think about, oh, it's got to be this other reason. Elon Musk, I like Elon Musk, or, he's got the same ideology as me. So I got to come up with all these justifications why doing this thing isn't doing this thing. If you think that it's not a Nazi salute, as I saw someone say, then you go to work and you do it. And you make sure everybody can see you. And see how long your job lasts. I bet not long. Everybody knows what it is. He did it twice to make sure that you knew. Okay. It is what it is. It's a Nazi salute.
And here's another thing. You know who also thinks it was a Nazi salute? The fucking Nazis.
Yeah.
They were super excited about this shit.
So we need to, that's a thing that people need to learn over the next couple of years. Stop allowing these guys to do things, play in your face, and then go, what you saw, you didn't see. That's bullshit. What you saw was accurate. It is a fucking Nazi salute. The question is, what are we going to do about it? It's not a question of whether he did it or not. Let the motherfucker deny it to the hilt. I don't give a fuck. What are you going to do about it? Right. If you're on Twitter, if you're one of those people on Twitter or X trying to be like, I'm going down with the ship, Knock it the fuck off. You're only helping these people. You're not doing anything. Oh, I was here in the beginning. I'll be here after Elon leaves. He's not leaving. You're going to be one of these, like, what, a sad liberal on Telegraph?
He will go down with the ship. He is the captain while the Titanic is fucking sinking. Yeah, don't be on there when that shit submerges.
Right. Get the fuck off of it. You want to hurt this guy? You're like, fuck Elon Musk. Leave the platform. Easiest way to hurt this guy, just bail in massive droves. Like, we are done. Go to Blue Sky if you want. Go to whatever other thing you want to go to, or go to nothing, and enjoy the rest of your day. Right? There is, you were talking about this offline with me, that there's all these major subreddits now that are banning links to X, right, from being posted
or even screen caps of posts from X.
Good. They should. You want to hurt this guy? Kill all access. You don't have to attack him. You don't have to do anything. Just kill his access. He gets tons of shares and everything else from Twitter off of Reddit. Hundreds. I mean, or probably tens of thousands, millions in a day. Stop doing it. That is a way to resist that has real consequences. So, yeah, he wants to get out there and do his little Nazi salute. Cool.
And the drum that I've been banging for the past several weeks, and I'll reiterate it here: if you follow a publication or a writer who can't call a spade, who can't say that what we saw is what we saw, stop supporting that publication. Stop giving them money. Stop reading it. Walk away from it. Independent journalism is going to be your best friend. Or if you absolutely have to have like a connected source, you know who's doing really good work right now? Rolling Stone is doing really great political work right now. If you want really good political journalism from a larger company who has the means to source like on the ground reporters, Rolling Stone is kicking ass.
Yeah. Once they got rid of Matt Taibbi, things got. He used to be good. And then he fucking lost.
Their Rolling Stone's inauguration headline: convicted criminal gets sworn in as president of the United States.
That's what I like. Big fan of that. Trump makes last minute change to inauguration because of crowd size fears.
I just
branding his supporters. This is a wonderful story. Go for it.
I love that this happened because there is no better, just right from Jump Street metaphor example of how Trump thinks about the people who care about him the most. Mm-hmm. So obviously, inauguration was this week, yesterday, as we're recording this. Lots of people came up from all over the country to watch it happen, to be there to witness history, to stand in the mall while their boy did his speech and that stuff like that. But it was going to be real cold outside on inauguration day, a freezing 24 degrees Fahrenheit. By the way, far from the coldest inauguration that's ever happened. But let's not get hung up on facts. And because Trump is such a thin-skinned bitch, and because I'm sure that he imagined that the cold weather was going to keep him from being able to march Katrina Levitt or whoever the fuck his press secretary is onto the podium tomorrow and declare his inauguration the largest crowd that's ever seen a president inaugurated in DC history, because he knew that wasn't going to happen. He said, we're actually going to move the inauguration indoors inside the Capitol Rotunda, and it's not going to be open to the general public. And oh, by the way, if you got a ticket, that's now a commemorative ticket.
That was fucking my favorite part. It's a commemorative.
Yeah, it's a commemorative ticket. And so we got to see a slew of right-wing people going on social media being like, oh my God, like I took out all this debt, charged this trip that I really couldn't afford, but I thought it was important to see history. I can't believe that we're not going to get to see it now. Why would he, like, it's not even that cold. Like, why would he not have the thing outside? I'm just like, guys, like, this is what you voted for.
Yeah, you voted for.
Yeah, this is what you voted for. This is exactly what you voted for. This is who this dude is. Hey,
Yeah.
I don't want to be out amongst the fucking rabble. Surround me with my cloak of billionaires that I can cuddle in, the people that I want to respect me, because I'm also a billionaire and I'm very rich, and these guys' opinions are the only opinions that I give a fuck about.
And I barely care.
So I'm going to make so I'm going to make sure they have a front row seat, even ahead of people in government. But fuck the rabble, like go fuck yourself. And the fact that they announced it like literally like 2 days before.
Yeah, people had flown in already. They're just in DC. Like, hey, we're here. Oh no. Look, good.
And Republican Congress people were just like, fuck, like we can't even have our families come see this shit. Like, there's no room inside the fucking Capitol Rotunda.
Nope. Don't worry, buddy. Don't worry. You all get to watch it on TV over there. So yeah, I love that for them. I think it's great. The ratings for his actual inauguration were the lowest of any inauguration since 2013.
That's so sad.
Maybe it was the weather. People couldn't find the remote.
Yeah, it's it's what when it's cold outside, when you're watching TV when it's cold, you also get cold too. You got to bundle up. I don't want to sit there, wearing my overcoat indoors to keep warm.
That would be crazy. That'd be crazy. And how would I ever see Melania Trump dressed as the Hamburglar? Like, oh man, priorities.
Fucking don't you make fun of Kung Lao like that? That's rude.
Kung Lao is awesome. Don't do that to him. All right, news you need. AOC sets the fucking standard for how progressives and liberals and Democrats and everybody else needs to be in this fucking new Trump era. She did a video, I guess it was on like Instagram or something. And they were like, she basically says, oh, everybody's asking me, oh, am I going to the inauguration? Am I going to the inauguration? She was like, first, no. I was like, I like that. Hard line. She was like, I don't celebrate rapists. That was it. Whole fucking speech. She didn't have nothing else to say in the fucking video. That's the standard, man. Stop being nice. Stop being demure. And, oh, well, I don't want to say about. Fuck that dude. Now what? What's next? And I saw, was it Libs of TikTok, that fucking loser ass woman, hatchet faced bitch, posted a thing like, oh, putting the video of AOC up and said, oh, AOC called the president a rapist. And AOC responded on top of it, oh, are you triggered? Cry more, which I thought was fucking awesome. But I like it. I like that energy, man. And I love that. I guess I'm old school that way. Like, yeah, why are you supporting the fucking rapists? Michelle Obama wasn't there. Mother Pence wasn't there.
Mother Pence, that's right.
Yeah, she didn't come either. And look, shout out to her. They tried to kill your husband and your family. I get it. Look, I understand why Obama has to be there. Why the fuck is Mike Pence there? The fuck, you didn't have to be there, dude. He didn't even choose you to be his running mate this time. But I'd be like, fuck you, bro. I'm not coming. How did he even get a ticket? Who sent him a ticket? Trump? Like, make sure.
Trump absolutely did. Are you kidding me? Dude, he loves having Mike Pence there.
Ugh.
Yeah. Just to cuck his ass. And look, we talked about like her response to the ADL, basically just like when they put that statement about like, yeah, I don't know if it was a Nazi salute. Like she's like, oh, good. So you just confirmed that people don't need to give a fuck about you anymore. Yep. She and I saw someone on Blue Sky and I reposted this as well.
I did
reskeeted, sure. Yeah. Basically was like, look, until I'm told otherwise, like AOC is the leader of the Democratic Party in my mind, because
I'm okay.
She's the only one that understands the assignment right now, as it were. Meanwhile, over in establishment land, as I said to you and Andy, fucking punk bitch, Chuck Schumer is out here like, well, we gotta work across. I'll actually read his post verbatim just because I just want you to understand like where a lot of these Democrats are right now. It's time to look to the future. The challenges that face America are many and great. The Senate must respond with resolve, bipartisanship, and fidelity to the working and middle class of this country. And my response to Chuck Schumer was, your job is to stand up against autocracy or get the fuck out of the way for somebody who will.
That's right. That's it. This is not normal, man. Like you gotta stop. You gotta stop this idea of thinking that you're functioning in a normal, like, okay, the Republicans are in power.
And believe me, there are plenty of elected Democrats who would love nothing more than to pretend like we're just moving on to the next thing.
Yeah, no.
Like there were people that were giving Joe Biden a hard time for Biden trying to make the transition like on inauguration day like as normal as he possibly could. Mm-hmm. Which I'm of two ways about it. Like, I understand why Biden is doing that because he's not a piece of shit. Like, he's not just gonna like, tell Trump though, you fucking wait outside till you're actually in there. But at the same time, like, would have been cool if he did. Like,
it's really funny, like in politics, where people want like their person, they want them to go rogue, and I'm like, I get it. Like, I feel that way. Like, I would have loved if during Jimmy Carter's funeral, like Trump leans over to Obama and Obama just fucking like moved forward and then elbowed him in the face, like like a la Commando, like on the plane, he fucking just hits the guy. That would have been awesome. But it's not going to happen. And like, so look, I have my wishes, my hopes, my whispers of a dream, if you will. But there's also reality, which is Trump says something to him. I mean, look, sometimes Trump is funny. Like, he just is. He's a piece of shit, but sometimes he's funny. And you go, yeah, you chuckle and you go, all right. And then you go home and you're like,
being courteous. Being courteous. Like, even if you don't think he's being funny, like, you're just like, all right, whatever. Yeah. But like, Chuck Schumer doesn't have to be that dude. Chuck Schumer doesn't have to be nice at all. And look, like, I'm not saying
go
that, like,
out guns blazing. As far as I'm concerned, be a
when I talk about that Democrats need to obstruct, like, I'm not saying like if Republicans somehow bring a bill to the floor in the Senate where it's like, hey, we're going to cap prescription drug prices, you got to stand in front of that. Like, no, obviously, like, if it's stuff that's going to legitimately help the American people, you're gonna fucking join hands, sing Kumbaya. But everything else, like there is not a single reason for like these fucking crackpot Trump nominees that he has going into his cabinet. And I'm not talking about Marco Rubio. Like, Marco Rubio sucks, but he's a perfectly cromulent Secretary of State. I don't mind you voting for Marco Rubio. It's whatever. But like, if you get a single Democratic vote for Pete Hegseth, what the fuck are you doing? If you get a single Democratic vote for Tulsi Gabbard, what the fuck are you doing?
Agreed.
Like figure your shit out. And I meant it when I said it. I don't know if it was last week or a couple weeks ago, whatever it was. Democrats need their 2010 moment. And again, I'm not saying that we need to shift to the fucking fringes and become like the insane progressive Tea Party kind of bullshit. But I am saying that all of these establishment people, like, if they are not up for the fight, they need to be primaried.
Yeah, you got to go.
And if they and that you might not win, but just the fact that you provide an actual challenge to them will be a wake up call to be like, hey, we can't just be business as usual anymore if I want to remain in this seat. Yeah. Because even someone that's like firmly established, like a Chuck Schumer, it's like fucking it's like picking at the wall, man. It's like fucking Shawshank. Like, it's gonna it might take a while, but eventually you'll break through if you keep at it. Yeah. So every single fucking Democrat in your state or your federal government, if you have a Democrat that is not willing to be an AOC and to tell it like it is and to fucking fight and stand up against this bullshit, either support a primary challenge against them or be a primary challenge against them.
Yep. Look, can't disagree. Absolutely can't disagree with that. All right, next up. Here's a fun one. I'm glad you mentioned something about Medicare and Medicaid. I don't know if you saw this one. Trump reverses Biden's policy on drug pricing in Obamacare.
I did. I forgot to put it on there. So basically, like, one of the things Trump did yesterday is I think he literally reversed like every Biden executive order. And by the way, neoprogs, like, when we talk about how you can't just do shit through executive order and expect it to stick, this is why. because as soon as the next guy comes in, he can just be like, oh, opposite of what that guy said, and do it in a day, just like he did.
Like, oh man, we'll try it again next time. Like, or you try to pass actual laws. Like, I know, remember the sentient bill that just fucking sits on the stairs. Yeah,
legislation is hard.
Yeah, it is. Turns out. On Monday, Trump signed a sweeping order aimed in part at reversing several Biden administration executive orders on healthcare, including efforts to lower the cost of prescription drugs for people on Medicare and Medicaid, enhancing the Affordable Care Act and increasing protections for Medicaid enrollees. So the big part there is efforts to lower the cost of prescription drugs for people on Medicare and Medicaid. Why though? Like it's one. I'd
love to hear it. I'd love to hear it. And again, because he did this.
I have a reason.
Okay, well, hang on before, but this is the cool thing about this, because he did this as like a flurry of executive orders. Like your normal not listening to the fucking Look Forward political podcast type of news, like type of person, is never going to know about this until they go to get their fucking insulin from from Walgreens.
Oh, was it
like, why is this $200 now?
Yeah, why was it $30 last week? Guess what it is now? So no, we have an answer, and the answer shouldn't surprise you. According to the Trump White House,
DEI.
It's for a few reasons. Quote, the idea of lowered prices on Medicare and Medicaid were, quote, deeply unpopular and radical. You know what people really hate? Cheaper prices for medication.
I need to pay more for this medicine that I need to live. These corporations work really hard to provide it to me. They deserve as much money as possible.
Well, I don't want a handout. Like, I want to pay $300 for my insulin every single week, even though I work at a fucking coal mine and I only make $600 a week. I want it because AstraZeneca just doesn't have enough of my money. Right? So yeah, it was deeply unpopular and radical. By the way, it was radical to make sure that poor people and old people didn't get bilked every fucking week for their necessary medication. I will pose this question once again. What does the country look like if Democrats get control? What are your plans? And they cannot be going back to business as usual. We're just going to put this back. No, you need to do some real shit. Give these people a Congress, give them a House, give them a Senate, give them the presidency. And I need a Project 2025 from Democrats. I do. Or Project 2028 or whatever. Like, you need something that is going to do serious damage to shit like this. This is insane. You're just screwing people to screw them. Hey, it's day one. You want to pay more for insulin? Well, no, I don't. Well, guess what, motherfucker? You are. Like, why?
And again, the real reason why is because a lot of people who gave Trump a lot of money to get him in the White House is like, hey, by the way, I have shares in this publicly traded pharmaceutical company that provides insulin to Medicare patients. I'd like that company to be more valuable, please.
Yeah. And he was like, absolutely. How do I do that? You need to fuck over poor people. Oh, fuck over poor people. That's my kink. What are you talking about? I love doing it. I'm a huge fan. So cool. Next up,
literally the dumbest 14 hours in the history of this country. And that's saying until the next day, at least.
Yes.
But
go for it.
So the TikTok situation came to a head.
Hell yeah.
Where Democrats and Republicans, because this was a bipartisan bill when it was passed 9 months ago, in their infinite, but Democrats especially, in their infinite wisdom, decided when they banned TikTok to give them like a 9-month lead time to find a buyer, even though ByteDance literally said they were never going to sell or divest from the company.
Right.
And it just so happened that the timetable that they laid out put the decision literally the day before Trump got inaugurated. Now, Trump did an about face on TikTok, despite trying to ban it through executive order when he was president 4 years ago. Now likes TikTok, mostly because a Republican mega donor named Jeff Yass owns a major share in the companies that own it, and basically told Donald Trump, like, save this fucking thing. And so Donald Trump was basically saying, like, hey, like, I'm going to find a way to save TikTok when I get into office. And so TikTok, again, they were handed a great hand, and they played it well, because Trump got inaugurated on the 20th. By the deadline for them to sell was the 19th. Now Biden, the DOJ said, like, look, service providers, if you still provide service for TikTok even after this deadline, like, you're not going to be held liable. Like, we're not going to prosecute it. Biden said, hey, the Trump administration can figure this shit out. Like, whatever it is. TikTok decided to go with what I will call malicious compliance. And they said, oh, no, we have to shut it down. You guys told us we don't want to be scofflaws, so we're going to shut the service down on the 19th. And so it did go dark on Saturday into Sunday with a message that basically said, hey, because of a law that was passed, we can't operate right now, but don't worry, because President Trump said that he was going to get our backs. And lo and behold, later on Sunday, with Donald Trump vehemently saying, look, like, I'm going to sign an extension on this deal as soon as I get in office, magically it was turned back on. Thank you, President Trump. You did it. It was thanks to your benevolence that this fucking happened. Now, I will just point out that all Trump did was sign, I believe, a 75-day extension to have ByteDance find a buyer. ByteDance has still said that they have no interest in selling any of their shares, so we'll see what happens when we get to the end of this fucking deadline. Trump is also somehow saying that the U.S. is going to get like a 50% sharing agreement with ByteDance, which, for a couple reasons. Number one, no, I don't think ByteDance would agree to that. And number two, yay, socialism. But
that's funny. Yeah.
But basically, this was all just a big propaganda fucking play by TikTok just to ingratiate themselves to Donald Trump, which they did. And that's because Democrats left the softball on a tee for them to smash out of the park. And lo and behold, as soon as TikTok comes back on, a lot of people reported that they found a lot more right-wing content being served up to them. A lot of hashtags that were kosher before, and I'm using that term very specifically, were all of a sudden not cool. All of a sudden, if you commented "Free Palestine" on a post, that comment would get deleted, according to moderation. If you had anything bad to say about guys like Mark Zuckerberg or Donald Trump or things of that nature, all of a sudden those comments were getting moderated by TikTok. And as soon as that happened, like Jay, to his credit, was like, look, like, as soon as the ban happened, like, I'm done, I'm out of here. I was like, yeah, like, we'll see, like, it's gonna come back on, it'll be cool. As soon as I saw that, I was like, nope, I'm out of here as well. Like, we're not sitting here for state-based propaganda being fed to me by the algorithm.
I mean, my only regret is, and maybe I'll re-download it. My biggest regret was that I did not torch my account before leaving. So, you know what? I will re-download it just to log in, just to torch my account.
Yeah.
I don't no, I don't trust it. I don't trust it.
How can you?
You can't look, let's be real.
And by the way,
any of them. You can't trust any of them.
And that's the thing. Like if you are on a social media platform and the CEO of said platform was on stage with Donald Trump at the inauguration, probably delete your account off of that app, because I was seeing the same thing on Instagram as well. Like they literally, like, there was a thing and then it came out later. It was like, oh, this was a mistake, we're looking into it. People showed, like, you literally couldn't search for hashtag Democrats on Instagram. It would return no results.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I saw
it.
I tried. Yeah. When I tried it, it was working fine. But here's the thing. X, at this point, X and any of the Meta products, you cannot trust them. You simply cannot trust them. You can't. Blue Sky seems fine. The biggest issue with Blue Sky is that because it has that sort of blanket blocking thing, which is fucking wonderful, it will never be allowed to grow to the size of any of these. That's, I mean, it's quite literally it.
I mean, it has like 27 million users or something right now, which seems pretty impressive considering that less than 6 months ago they were around like 1.5 million, if I'm not mistaken. So.
Right, but you'll never see it get to the size of like a Twitter or something like that, because one of the things that benefits all of those platforms is that every psycho is on there, right? Like that's
but that's only true if you're selling ads, and that's and Blue Sky is not being run as like a for-profit company. Like there are no ads on Blue Sky right now. Right. So as long as it continues to be run as like, hey, we're not trying to make all the money in the world and be like this massively successful corporation, then it will stay that way because it will be the freest platform that you have to be able to see the stuff you want to. Now, again, I'm not saying it's always going to be that way. Like it feels like social media more and more nowadays is like playing a fucking game of whack-a-mole. Of whack-a-mole, like you're riding the platform that you like until they inevitably do something amazingly fucking stupid and make it unusable from a user standpoint, and then you got to bail and find the next one, which is really annoying. But at the same time, like, yeah, that is what you kind of have to do.
Yeah, I don't use Blue Sky that much. I have it, but my biggest thing is because you have the ability to just be like, oh, are there a bunch of MAGA trolls and shit? Turn all that shit off. I don't want to ever see it. They are not on social media to have actual genuine interactions. They're there to troll and make your life miserable. When they don't have that, they don't want to be on the app. Like the whole point is like they want to be able to like, we're giving it to the libs. It's like there's no libs listening, dude. You're already been blocked, baby. Like it's done. And once you can do that, you've segmented it. And so it cannot potentially grow as big as like a Twitter, because a lot of what Twitter is.
That's fine.
And look, I agree. And that's what I'm saying.
The people that I want to be there are there. The people who I want to hear from are on there. That's all I need. I don't need everybody to be there. Like I don't again, this whole fucking like concept of like, oh, like social media should be like the town square. Like, no, it shouldn't. But also, like, in the town square, like, if someone's talking about some fucking nonsense, I can walk away. Like, I'm not forced to, hear this dude talk and shit like that. Like, get the fuck out of here. So, and look, like, Blue Sky's also rolling out a thing called Flickr soon, which is basically going to be their Instagram. Mm-hmm. They're working on, like, their own version of what TikTok is, essentially. So, like, look, I hope it was worth it to all these fucking social media CEOs to bow down and kiss the ring. I hope you enjoy your My Pillow advertisements and your like Kid Rock ads and all the fucking low budget people that are willing to advertise with you in the future, and not the major corporations, because no one's going to be on your fucking apps. And I'm not going to say no one. Like obviously a shitload of people are still going to be on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that, but it ain't going to be like it was by any stretch of the imagination. I'm sure, like, and again, like the thing that they underestimate.
But by the way, the second they come up with an Instagram replacement, I will delete my Instagram. I have no problem with it. I think a lot of the people on there, especially all these fucking comic book piece of shit, racist assholes, I cannot stand them. I'm like, one, you're not reporting proper news. You're just putting a bunch of rumor bullshit out there. And it's just the most racist dirtbags in the world. And I'm like, I would love to read those things where it's actual people about the discourse, like genuine discourse about it. So you want to replace Instagram? No problem. I'm happy to leave.
Here's the problem, and what I don't understand about why a lot of these folks are acting the way that they're acting. If you were to have emerged from a coma and see the way like the right wing is carrying on right now, see how like every fucking corporation is capitulating to the possibly fascist regime that's coming into power, seeing all the deference that's being paid to this, you would assume that Donald Trump won an electoral victory on the level of Reagan Mondale.
Right, exactly. He just stomped everyone in there.
And Donald Trump won the second closest presidential election in the last, I don't know, 50 years, if not longer than that. And the only one that was closer was because one state couldn't figure out how to fucking punch a ballot correctly.
Right.
And that was it. Like literally every other election was wider than this one by a lot. If you look at popular vote and things of that nature, Donald Trump won by 1.5% of the popular vote. He won by a slimmer electoral margin than Joe Biden did when Biden won in 2020.
Yep.
The fact that they're going around like, oh, we've got a mandate, and the fact that like all these tech bro CEOs are like, oh, we got to kiss the ring and we got to change how we're moderating. Like, guys, like more than half the country is not fucking with this. And you have no idea how petty millennials and Gen Z can be. We will fuck you out of spite because it puts a smile on our face. Yeah. I don't care if I use Amazon Prime like crazy. I will cancel my Prime subscription tomorrow, baby. Yeah. I don't give a fuck. I'll figure the shit out. You think I need Facebook and Instagram? You think I need Twitter? I don't. I'm happy or not happy. My wife, who is, she's not apolitical, but she's not into this shit like I am, right? She's not down. She was on TikTok all the time. She was on Instagram all the time. She was fucking doing that shit. She deleted that shit in a nanosecond. Hasn't thought about it since. Yep. She's like, you know what? I think I'm better off. Because now, I don't have this thing that I can just grab and just idly fucking thumb through all the time. Like, because you don't realize, like, how programmed you are to do that. Because that's how they fucking get you. And there are a lot of other people who are just be like, yeah, I'm just going to fucking delete this and just not replace it. Because I don't need it. Yeah. And if you're a sicko like me, who does need it, because I'm a sick person that needs that communication. Look, Blue Sky is working good right now, and Discord we've talked about on the show before. Like not to pimp just our Discord, but like Discord in general. It's great. Create the community you want, yeah. and just hang out with those folks. Like that's the best part about Discord.
Look, I know, 10 years ago it was super cool and everybody on like South Park was like, oh, you need a safe space. Yeah, look, I'm sorry. That's for white people bullshit. Protecting your fucking mentality or your mental health and not being surrounded by Nazis and bigots and pieces of shit and sexists and homophobes and transphobes, that is your right. You do not actually have to subject yourself to a bunch of fucking knuckle-dragging Neanderthals all the time. And I won't. So, like, if we have Discords for our shows, we talk about movies and politics and all this other shit. If for some bizarro reason it started having a bunch of fucking people in there who I thought were just very antithetical to, like, the community was set up, I know people, oh, well, you just bring them in and you guys have a conversation. Nope, you're done. No, just bounce your ass out of there. I'm just saying that democracy is an authoritarian fucking situation. Fuck off. Yeah. Iron fist, right? Like, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in preserving a nice conversation with people who are like-minded. That's okay. I don't have to be friends with people I disagree with. What kind of fucking horseshit is that? Fuck those people. Take your ass to Telegraph. I don't give a shit.
Especially people like you don't know IRL. Like come on. Like I'm gonna get into a fucking argument with a fucking like someone with an anime avatar that is talking about some bullshit. Like
you have an anime avatar, no one should listen to you at all. All right. I know there's a bunch of people like, hey, wait a minute, I do. Yeah, I'm talking to you too. You as well. No, but it's just nonsense. This is absolute nonsense. So no, you're not required. And look, it is absolute bullshit. It was a ploy. Didn't Marvel Snap get involved in this too?
Marvel Snap caught a stray because they were published by a company that's a subsidiary of ByteDance. And they still aren't up, by the way. Like Marvel, because the law was so poorly like laid out. Like Marvel Snap, I think is still not back up and running again, to the point where the developer of Marvel Snap is like, yeah, as soon as this shit gets resolved, we're finding a new publisher because fuck this.
Yeah, you don't want to be politically involved in any of it. Like that's
so cool. I hope ByteDance enjoyed their performative compliance that they did. I hope they enjoyed that Dog and Pony show and enjoy losing the billions of dollars that Marvel Snap is bringing them in revenue right now. Good job, you fucking morons. And as far as like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos and Sundar Patel or Pichai, I can't remember the Google CEO guy's name, and Tim Cook and all these other fucking guys, the TikTok CEO, check back with me in 2 years and let me know how you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I think it's hilarious that you had like a bunch of liberal, like, look, there's a lot of liberal folks on TikTok that I like, that I follow, that I quite enjoy their content. Why did you rush back to being on TikTok? What's the fucking point? Like, what is the fucking purpose? And now they're on Red Note and they're like, hey, we're being censored. Yeah, it's Red Note. Like,
yeah. Like at least TikTok had the air of separation between the come on of separation between that and the Chinese government. Like Red Note just basically, it's called Red Note. Like, come on.
Little Red. Why don't you just call it Little Red Book? Yeah. What's in that book? Well, let's talk about it. So yeah, I'm just
was PinkTube not available as like a fucking app name?
Pretty sure it's not available. Pretty sure that's definitely something
that's probably something else. You're right. Good call.
Look. Why don't you know what? I hear they have links to PinkTube off of whitehouse.com. Okay, like
there you go.
Let's check it out.
There you go.
Next
that
up,
didn't even occur when I was saying it.
Yeah, I was like,
awesome.
Look, I don't know. I mean, RedTube is definitely a thing, but if I had to take a guess, probably.
Oh my god.
Joe Biden dropped some last-minute preemptive pardons on his way out. He gave pardons to General Mark Milley and old Anthony Fauci over there.
As well as all of the Congress people who served on the January 6th committee,
as well as his family members. He was like,
"Yeah,
fuck y'all."
Very, very, very cool that the outgoing president felt the need to have to pardon all the people that are closely associated with him for fear of what the incoming administration is going to do. Very democratic, very American.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm sure right-wingers are going to be like, well, what do they have to hide? They don't have anything to hide. It's literally protecting them from you psychopaths. Like, that's why. The fact that Anthony Fauci has to be pardoned by the outgoing president for all of the things that guy has done positively for the country is insane. That his legacy ends with him having to be protected by from a fascist administration coming in after it. That's unbelievable to me.
And by the way, like I ultimately blame Trump for this because Trump is really the one who made a mockery of the pardon power. Before he with the people that he pardoned before, and not to say that he was the first one. Like certainly there's been previous instances of pardons in the past that have been fucking ridiculous by presidents of both parties, like for sure. But like, you know, when you're pardoning like fucking Steve Bannon and Roger Stone and fucking assholes like that, like the pardon power becomes like, what can I do for my buddies? And maybe some fucking black people who don't deserve to be in prison for what they're in prison for. That's what it becomes at that point. And then again, like Trump takes the step further with, you know, pardoning all of the January 6th folks. But we support the police, but not the ones that work at the Capitol. They got the shit kicked out of them.
Okay, that's the end of the free portion for this week's episode of Look Forward. Make sure you go to lookforwardshow.com/premium. Sign up for premium content. It's only $5 a month or $50 for the full year.